April 6th, 2018.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 44. Hang on a second, Todd. Hey Siri. What's my name?
You're Seth. But since we are friends, I get to call you my supreme overlord.
Thank you, Siri.
Really? And I'm Todd Sturgill.
How you doing this week, Todd?
Pretty good. Until I had to wake up to do this, and I'm just playing.
Some real shit. I could have just slept. I'm so tired, man. I'm stretched thin. Stretched thin, damn it. We got a treat for you guys this week. We and we said this when we recorded it. Back in early January, we did a little game. I think it was actually our second episode of 2018. We did a little game where Todd and I used a video game title mashup generator. And basically what it is this generator gives you a bunch of random ass titles. It's an algorithm of like hundreds, I imagine, of titles spanning every console in existence. And it just takes like chunks of titles and just mashes them together. And sometimes you get just jumbled up garbage, but sometimes you get gold, like Sesame Street Fighter and Tony Hawk's Biohazard 2004, which were some of the gems that we had in the last one. There's some good ones last time, but we were like, you know what? This is a fun enough game to where I think every few months we'll kind of do this every like 3 months or so and kind of revisit this game. And we'll sort of, I think the way we're going to do it is I brought the titles last time and Todd didn't know what the titles were. This time Todd has got the titles and I don't know what titles he brought. And we just sort of collected like between 10 and 15 titles each time. And we're basically just going to hear the titles and sort of hash out what kind of game we think that they would be. This may be a shorter episode than normal, but you know what? I think it's going to be a fun one. So without any further ado, Todd, first of all, how many titles did you get for us this week?
Let me count these out. 12.
No, beautiful. All right.
I'll be real, it was hard.
Some real shit. Yeah, you had a hard time with it?
Well, one, it's also because I was like sitting there, like you caught me like right as I was about to like go and take my nap, so I was like, I'm tired right now, but I'll do it.
I expect these titles will reflect your tired humor state.
On some real shit, that is the truest shit of life, because like the first one that I'm going to tell you is honestly, I don't know if you can make a game out of it. Just entertain the shit out of me.
Okay. Well, fuck it. Let's get right into it. Hit me with that sweet first one.
Autobahn Racer.
Autobahn Racer?
The Lost Children of Honor. Africa.
Hang on. Repeat that?
Autobahn Racer.
But wasn't there a subtitle?
The Lost Children of Honor.
Okay. Autobahn Racer, The Lost Children of Honor. Okay. God, the first thing that comes to my head is so fucked up. Okay, so the Autobahn, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't the Autobahn the sort of like area, isn't it in like Germany and there's like no speed limit?
It's basically like that expressway thing that they have, where it's like you can go like 100 plus miles.
There's no speed limit. Haven't like just a ton of people died on the Autobahn? Like, isn't that a thing?
Possibly, I don't know.
I don't know. I have very like precursory knowledge about what the Autobahn actually even is, but the first thing that came to my mind, this is like a simulation game, kind of like those truck driving simulators, where you're getting roadhead while on the Autobahn. And the Lost Children of Honor is like the children that are floating in your semen.
I hate you.
That's the first thing that came to my mind.
I love it.
What are you thinking about for this title? You got to have a better one than mine.
I'll be real. Like what? Like this was actually. I'm gonna tell you. Like with the generator. This is one of the first things that I got. And the thing is, again, with me being so tired, this shit entertained the hell out of me.
Did I hear earlier? Did I
like,
hear you say something about Africa in the subtitle? Was
Oh yeah, because it had a third subtext.
Jesus. This one was just garbage, wasn't it?
It was so good.
I feel like I can do better than that, but I do think that it needs to be some sort of Audubon simulator. So it's called The Lost Children of Honor. So, okay. Maybe it's like an adventure game, like a mystery adventure game where you're playing as these lost orphan children. Maybe there's some sort of mystery involving somebody that died on the Audubon. Maybe
You see, now you're getting more into it, and I respect that because it's just like that could easily be a thing. The Lost Children of Honor would be like like some orphan children.
these orphan children.
Like, sort of,
maybe there's like some sort of conspiracy where like all of their parents died on the Audubon, and they have to like go and explore the Audubon and like some fucked up shit happen.
try not to die.
Some
themselves.
Goonies ass shit, some supernatural Goonies ass shit with these lost children of the of honor part is what gets me, because that's where I'm like, I don't know where the honor part comes in, but I don't know. I think that's
If they fail, they'll seppuku.
I don't know. Maybe yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know where the honor part comes in, but maybe that's a little bit more of a legitimate take on that fucking garbage title.
That is technically a more legitimate take, and I respect it.
All right. I think we've flushed that one out. What's the next one we got?
Spongebob Squarepants, The Last Airbender.
Two Nickelodeon properties. Some good crossover. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. So
It fucking works though, dude. Like, think about it. He's gonna be doing the airbending shit through his holes.
So okay. So SpongeBob obviously would be airbending through his pores. I mean, waterbending is obvious. I feel like the waterbending is going to be the most common in this world. How is firebending going to work? Like,
Don't question it.
I mean,
Watch SpongeBob. They make a fire.
yeah, like they make fires underwater and they make comments about that and stuff like that. But I'm just a little bit. I mean, like, what character do you think would figure that out? Like in the SpongeBob lore, maybe it's like Plankton. Like Plankton's the one.
I was thinking Plankton.
So, okay. So I'm wondering, and there's like sand and shit like that. So like earthbending wouldn't really be a problem. But I'm just wondering. I want to figure out the hierarchy of this, because I feel like SpongeBob would be the only one who could truly, really airbend in the water. So SpongeBob is the last airbender, essentially. But I'm just curious as to like, and if we have Plankton who is firebending, maybe it's only 4 characters. Maybe they're only certain people. They're only like 4 characters. I feel like since Patrick lives under a rock, he would have to be the earthbender. So we got, and then I guess the waterbender would be Squidward at that point.
Yes.
So, and waterbending would be a commonplace thing, but to see, so I think it would have to culminate. Well, let's see what kind of actual game this is, though. Like, is it just an action RPG where you play as SpongeBob as the last airbender underwater in a pineapple under the sea?
That's what I would want to play.
So I'm just wondering, the conflict, essentially the chum bucket would represent the Fire Nation at that point.
Everything changed when the chum bucket.
Yeah, pretty much. And Plankton would, I mean, maybe Plankton makes like, isn't there an episode of SpongeBob where he like makes the chum bucket like a mech suit, essentially? Isn't that a thing that happens?
That sounds like a fever dream.
It probably is.
Like, be real.
God, I wish if it's not real, then that's what I want in this game.
And I think at one point, like, there's a level, because this is a SpongeBob game mixed with Airbender. Like, I think one of the major cruxes of the story needs to be that he actually gets his hand on the secret formula for the Krabby Patty.
Yeah,
Everything changed when the chum bucket.
that's true. That's true. Maybe that happens like before the events of the game start. Yeah, like he actually does get a hold of the fucking secret formula. Mr. Krabs is like the reverse Iroh, basically. Okay, I could see that. I would really, just in general, like as a side note, even if it's not this weird SpongeBob Avatar crossover, I kind of miss the SpongeBob games because I remember actually really enjoying one of the SpongeBob games back on GameCube. It was called like Battle for Bikini Bottom or something like that, and it was like a 3D platformer. And I actually remember really liking it back then. It might be garbage now, like my memory might not be serving me well, but I just remember enjoying it back then. I kind of miss having like a SpongeBob 3D platformer because I actually really like the old SpongeBob episodes. Like that show used to be legitimately really funny. Anyway, moving on. What's our next one?
The next one is Wario, Land Before Time.
Oh yes. Oh, this game writes itself, doesn't it?
I knew you'd appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate the Wario and Waluigi in general. And both of them have been woefully underserved. Waluigi more so. And you know what's funny is I think this is like the third episode in a row where I have in some way expressed my distaste in the way Waluigi's been treated.
Yes, it has been. I think on some real shit, it has been.
I think just somehow I always get to talking about Waluigi the past few episodes. But Wario, so Wario Land Before Time, okay. They made these Wario Land games already. So this would literally be a new entry in the Wario Land series. Which are like kind of like platformers, but have like a time travel element to it. And maybe he literally is interacting with like dinosaurs and shit. If it is Land Before Time. Now I'm wondering though, if it's Land Before Time, is this gonna be like a actual crossover series with the Land Before Time movies?
Let's not go that route.
Okay.
I don't want it to be it could be vaguely like, dealing with like dinosaurs and shit like that.
But he ain't gonna be like jumping on Petrie or fucking Littlefoot.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. I mean, there have been a few Wario Land games, but I don't know how many entries in the Wario Land series there are. But there have been a handful of Wario Land games. And I actually enjoy most of them. I've played most of them, and I've enjoyed them. So I certainly wouldn't mind seeing a new game with Wario as the protagonist, much less if he were going back in time and dealing with dinosaurs and shit. Really, dinosaurs need to just be involved in more games in general. What's next?
Super Meat Boy and the Deep.
And the Deep?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. I mean, Super Meat Boy is already a well-established
I know.
property.
This will be the sequel.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they haven't really done... I mean, Super Meat Boy's had several different ports, and they have Super Meat Boy Forever coming out soon. But...
No.
What's up?
I'm trying to think like what the Deep would be, though.
I mean, water comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I kind of want... I kind of want to see Super Meat Boy go a different direction gameplay-wise, because I think it'd be a little boring if it was just like, oh, it's Super Meat Boy, but underwater. I wonder how they would make Super Meat Boy... Because the thing about Shovel Knight... This is going to be a little bit of a journey, but stick with me. The thing about Shovel Knight is that, like, people... The logical kind of, like, conclusion... A lot of people are like, oh, like, what's the sequel to Shovel Knight going to look like, right? Is it going to just be Shovel Knight 2, where it's just, like, more of the same? Or is it going to be essentially Shovel Knight 64? you know, where they take Shovel Knight and they kind of make it like a Nintendo 64 style 3D platformer. And in a similar vein, Super Meat Boy would be an interesting one where it is like Super Meat Boy is a total homage to those old like difficult platformers and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see Super Meat Boy take that kind of like tough as nails platforming and put it into the 3D platformer space, because I don't know that has like really been done. I can't really think of a 3D platformer, with the exception of like certain areas of like 3D Mario games, that is just like nail-bitingly hard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like Super Meat Boy is. Like most 3D platformers are like not as hard as Super Meat Boy. Like hard, but not like Super Meat Boy hard. Super Meat Boy hard is still a like an index by which I measure games difficulty. Like I still will say like no, this is like Super Meat Boy hard. I mean, that game is just really fucking hard. So it'd be interesting if Super Meat Boy of the Deep would be a 3D platformer version of this, but maybe with even more floaty mechanics, because maybe it is underwater. Mm-hmm. But the thing about Super Meat Boy is that the controls are so tight that like it would be
the floaty mechanics of it would like really fuck it up to a certain extent.
Exactly, and I think that would make
it more difficult.
Exactly, I think it would be even harder in that respect. And I would like to see more things take a nautical theme. I mean, I enjoy underwater theming, so. Okay, what's next?
NBA Street Skater 97.
Oh yeah, I like that. Oh, 97, yes. That's my ballpark, homie. Did you ever play the NBA Street games?
Yeah.
Fucking love those games.
So this is a level of like dumbassery that can kind of like it works, because it's just it kind of right. This kind of game makes itself, because I'm just imagining like people playing like fucking basketball like while skateboarding.
Oh man,
and it sounds stupid as shit, and I love it.
So it's funny that skateboarding has worked its way into both of these episodes.
I intentionally did that.
Skateboarding is something I've actually been thinking a lot about lately. Not like doing it again, because I'm too old and fat to do that again. But I rode a skateboard for years when I was a younger, thinner man. But so yeah, I mean that is the sort of thing that writes itself. Where yeah, it's combining skateboarding with basketball, but I am kind of curious how that would work. Because like I don't think you could really just do it on the typical b-ball court. Like I feel like it would have to be in like a big quarter pipe or something, or a half pipe.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be fucking cool.
Yeah, I feel like the goals would have to be set up on like half pipes or quarter pipes, and there would have to be, God, it would have to be on an enormous scale. Or even like one thing that we actually did when I was a kid is that we had the pool drained out at one point, and we skateboarded in the pool.
Yeah.
So like maybe that would be a thing too, just an enormous sort of like arena, like inlaid dome arena with the basketball goals set up on the opposite lengths of that. And it would be really difficult to pass the ball to somebody that's skateboarding, and it would be really difficult to make your goal. But yeah, essentially it would be like, imagine a Tony Hawk game, but you're having to play basketball inside of this arena as well. It'd be a hard fucking game, but I would love to
It'd be fun though.
I don't know that it would even be fun, but I would love to see it. Like that's something that I would like to just watch, like somebody fuck with.
Yeah.
Anyway, what's next?
Batman Farmyard Games.
Okay, Batman Farmyard Games. Well, what are you thinking of for this one?
When I grabbed this from the generator, in my mind I see this being like some shitty mobile game.
Yeah, it does seem like it would be a shitty mobile game though.
like a shitty mobile game, and it's like You're Batman. You're Bruce Wayne. Whatever.
So they're
And you're
go ahead.
we're going. I feel again. I feel like you'd be able to maybe pick your character with this.
I have a couple of thoughts. So either this is like a thing in like the suburbs of Gotham where there are like farmers and stuff like that, and maybe you are a farmhand. Maybe Wayne Enterprises purchased like one of these farms. I think this would be like maybe when Wayne Enterprises bought one of these farms, and you work as like a farmhand that is producing these crops. But another thought that I had is that maybe you are playing as like a thrall of like Poison Ivy.
Okay.
Maybe you're playing as like maybe Poison Ivy has like these farms of like, you know, poisonous or carnivorous plants, and it's still like a shitty mobile game. But like the idea is that it's almost like a Plants vs Zombies kind of thing where you're playing as like Poison Ivy's thrall, laying down these plants, defending it from Batman.
I actually that right there, that's the winner.
Yeah, I think that one's better. Okay, what's the next one?
What's funny is it's another somewhat Batman related one. Project Gotham.
So Project Gotham is actually already a thing.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Project Gotham Racing.
Oh.
But I like I think that you could go like a certain route with it where like it's literally Project Gotham Racing. Like it's Batman Racing, basically. Like imagine like Batman Kart.
When the hell was that Project Gotham Racing is a thing?
Yes. It's a video game series already.
My God.
Yeah, Project Gotham Racing is a thing. That was actually, it's like a long-standing video game series. Yeah, its first release was in 2000 actually.
My God.
Yeah. Yeah, but I like the idea of like taking it like a Batman Kart kind of route basically, and still just saying fuck it and just still keeping the same title. Just Project Gotham. Or maybe that's the working title until they get sued by the PGR developers. But it would be, I mean, the Batmobile alone has had so many different iterations that I think the Batmobile just on its own would be like you wouldn't even really have to go any further than that. There are enough vehicles in Batman's sort of history, like 80-year history. Like I think you could pull off a Batman racing game. So I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Just that copyright infringing, just Project Gotham.
Just to say fuck it.
Anyway, what we got next?
Shrek's Redneck Jamboree.
Oh, I love it. Shrek's Redneck Jamboree. See, now I kind of want to know what the Redneck Jamboree came from. Like, what game that came from. It came from a game called Calvin Tucker's Redneck Jamboree on Wii. That's where the Redneck Jamboree part came from. Okay. Shrek's Redneck Jamboree. Shrek is kind of a redneck in some ways, isn't he? Like, he lives in a swamp.
Yeah, technically.
He's gross, you know. Yeah.
How rude.
Well, I mean, he is gross. Look, this motherfucker... Correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't watch these Shrek movies, but I remember in the first one. The first one's the only one I've actually watched start to finish. Doesn't he, like, pull, like, earwax out of his ears, and it's, like, so thick that he uses it as a fucking candle?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the thing.
Yeah, so don't call me rude. Shrek's gross. Okay? So yeah, Shrek's Redneck Jamboree. Interestingly, I'm wondering how you go about this. Is it just like Shrek's throwing a party, or is it like Shrek?
Yeah, it could be like a Mario Party, but just with Shrek characters.
Oh god, I feel like that's something that has to be a thing already.
It is a thing technically. But
Like a Shrek Mario Party clone?
there is. I forget what it was called. As I said the Mario Party thing, it clicked in my mind that it was already a thing.
Yeah, there's got to
I
be
forget
some
what
kind
it's
of,
called.
Shrek's Ogre Bash or some shit, like there's got to be something like that.
Shrek's Ogre Bash.
I don't know. There's got to be something like that in place already, but I was
But now what you can do with it is cater more to the redneck shit. Do some like stupid like redneck related shit, like some hog racing or something.
how about this? So maybe we take the approach of like Shrek is a party planner for a group of rednecks, and essentially the game is trying to like meet the demands of this redneck jamboree and plan this redneck jamboree. And it's funny because comparatively to these rednecks who are throwing the jamboree and who have hired Shrek is like sophisticated compared to them. Shrek is like highbrow compared to them. And it's a sort of party planning simulator where you are Shrek, and it takes place in the sort of Shrek universe. But you're having to plan a party. You're having to plan a literal redneck jamboree. And I think since the Shrek Mario Party territory has already been claimed,
That's the only way to go.
I think it's sort of destined to be one of those obscure like Steam finds,
Oh Lord.
Anyway, what do we got next?
Animal Crossing, Oracle of the Darkness 2.
Oracle of the Darkness 2. Okay, so clearly it took a little inspiration from like Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Zelda. Oracle of the Darkness. Animal Crossing has always had kind of a dark tinge to it. I would be curious to see taking Animal Crossing in a slightly different direction, where like it's like kind of like it's kind of more of an RPG than a sort of like town simulator or life sim.
Okay.
Because Oracle of the Darkness sort of implies like a richer story to it, And it would be kind of interesting to see Animal Crossing adopt a story in general, even if it were still a life sim. Like, the day-to-day is kind of always the story with Animal Crossing. So it would be interesting to see... It'd be interesting to see Animal Crossing actually incorporate a larger story into its day-to-day. But I don't know. This one's a little bit of a... This one stumps me a little bit.
So, I do like the route you're going with, like an actual like RPG. I think when I grabbed this one, I grabbed it for one because it was Animal Crossing, and also it's just weird. But I can see it going like a sort of RPG, maybe for some reason, just like, I don't know, the Oracle of the Darkness. I kind of want like a level of like horror elements to it.
Okay.
And just go balls to the wall, just weird as shit. Like, should not be a game. But I'd play it.
If it's an RPG, then maybe it retains the sort of life sim town building kind of mechanics, but maybe your party members are the animal villagers that come into your town. Maybe that's the way you get party members. Is
yeah, I like that.
And they each have like unique abilities that you need to sort of overtake this Oracle of Darkness. And you got to keep in mind, this is the second one. This is the sequel, so this is the more refined take with better graphics. And anyway, what's next?
I'm gonna be real. I don't know what we can do with this one. I just enjoyed the shit out of it. But I'm gonna say this. I think this is going to be a puzzle game.
Okay.
Bob in the Ninth Dimension.
Bob in the Ninth Dimension. Seems like it would be a puzzle game, but I don't even know to which Bob are we referring to, like Bob the Builder?
No. I mean, it could be Bob the Builder if you want it to be. Or it could just be some loser named Bob that gets put into has to go through a series of unfortunate events in the Ninth Dimension.
Okay, so you're suggesting that's an original character named Bob.
Yes.
It's not based on an existing property. What's Bob's story? Like, what are we doing with him in the ninth dimension?
How about this? He's a janitor in a very like secretive top, government base type shit.
You just got
He's
done
a
watching
piece
The
of
Shape
shit.
of Water.
I know, right? That's exactly what happened. I think that's exactly where this is coming from.
Okay, so he's a janitor. What is the ninth dimension?
The ninth dimension. Let's go with this. Let's see.
It could be like the opposite of Howard the Duck, where like Howard the Duck's whole thing is like trapped in a world he never made or whatever, and like he's kind of coming from other from like extraplanar universes and shit. Maybe this is the opposite, where Bob the janitor is just this random ass guy, this human janitor on planet Earth, but he's being teleported to like he's trapped in the ninth dimension, which is like this crazy fucked up, Rick and Morty ass space universe, with all these fucked up aliens and stuff. And yeah, I guess it would probably end up being a puzzle or an adventure game.
Yeah.
Where he's basically just trying to find his way home. Shit, I'd play it.
I would too.
Anyway, what's next?
Need for Speed, senior year. Now,
Yes. Yes. Go on.
now I want this to be a story-driven Need for Speed game.
They have been lately, haven't they?
I know, that's the thing, but I want my main character to be some old motherfucker.
It's like it's like, because didn't they do an experiment with one of the Need for Speed games recently where it was like full motion video and shit?
Did they?
Yeah, I think one of them had like full motion video recently or something like that. It's just a bunch of old fucks in the retirement home. Yo, hit that ramp, motherfucker! It's like, you gotta trick out your ride, homie. I enjoy it. Now, hang on. So is it that you're playing, is story driven that you're playing old people, or is it that maybe you're playing these old like beat up fucking cars too? Like none of this sleek, sexy.
Oh God, yes.
None of this sleek, sexy shit. You're driving like a fucking like sedan.
Like a fucking Oldsmobile.
Yeah, just like those old people's, like the kind of cars they drive, like a beat up Crown Vic.
But the thing is, like, there's a level of them being kind of souped up, though. Like they're souping
They're on
up these old
hydraulics
pieces
and
of
shit.
shit. Holy shit!
Even though I like that we've taken it this route, even though the subtitle senior year would imply that they're like the opposite, they're like high school students.
See, I it implies that, but I said fuck that. I want them to be old.
I agree. It's more amusing if they're old. All right, what's next?
This is the final one.
Okay.
I already kind of know what it's going to be. I'm going to say this. It's going to be a dating sim.
Okay.
Frankenstein's First Love.
Aw, that's sweet. Frankenstein's First Love. Okay. Am I misremembering, or wasn't there like, did Frankenstein have like a love interest?
Well,
I don't think so. I think it was just like kind of like him against the town kind of thing. I don't think he actually had a love interest.
Mm-hmm.
Is this like a dating sim between what? What were you thinking?
So let's cut it out. Let's just. I want to think of this as actually being Frankenstein's monster.
Right.
And now, I feel like, again, this is a spoof-ass game, if it's going to be anything. It's got to be horror-like sort of characters, sort of thing.
Yeah, it would. I mean, if it's a dating sim, it would probably be a dating sim between these, like, kind of the universal monsters, like fucking, like, Wolfman and Creature of the Black Lagoon and shit like that.
Shit like that.
It's like, oh, Dracula-kun.
Oh, no!
Oh, Frankenstein-sama.
So much.
Like the blush cheeks and shit like that.
Oh, I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
You could either go that way, because you're talking about Frankenstein's monster, but it is called Frankenstein.
It could easily be just it could easily just be like, yeah.
because it could be like Victor Frankenstein. Maybe it's like, maybe the story of it is that Victor Frankenstein is trying to like find people, like maybe he feels like that's the missing element of his monster is love, or something like that.
So what? He's like trying to like set the monster up with people.
He's trying to set the monster up. But
Okay.
he's courting these people and sort of like screening them to see who's like good enough to be his monster's first love. But maybe along the way he falls in love unexpectedly. Unexpectedly, it is Frankenstein's first love. You come into the game thinking that the title refers to Frankenstein's monster, but really, it's Victor Frankenstein's first love. He falls in love with one of these. This podcast has taken a Shape of Water ass direction. If I've ever seen it.
Well, we did just watch it.
Yeah. Probably be doing a shots about that pretty soon. Wink, wink.
No, the question is that will that shots be up by the time this episode's up?
I'm not going to make any promises, Todd, because I'm a tired boy, and I don't know how my weeks go. But you know what?
Just know that it may or may not be up right now.
It'll exist. Maybe, we'll do this like a choose your own adventure book. It's like, yeah, it's up right now. Go listen to it. Flip to page 30. Yeah, it'll be up on Tuesday. We'll see. I would like for it to be up by the time you're listening to this, but anyway, yeah. So that's our game. That's what we enjoy doing. That's the stupid bullshit we get up to every few months. I want to come up with a name for the segment. What do you think this segment should be named when we do it?
Nerd Bourbons. I don't know. It's gotta be Nerd Bourbon something, but
the place that I go to for it is like kind of like Nerd Bourbon's Hangover or something like that, or like Vomit or something.
I actually Nerd Bourbon's video game Vomit.
Okay, yep, that's what it is. I like it. Nerd Bourbon video game Vomit. Okay, that is the official title. You got any other comments to make about any of these games before we wrap this up, Todd? What was your favorite one?
My favorite one? Actually, SpongeBob Last Air.
Mine too. I liked the like sort of lore that was developed around SpongeBob the Last Airbender.
I feel like that was like the easiest one to like really get into.
It was, and maybe it was all that sweet synergy between Nickelodeon brands that we've all come to know and love.
Yeah.
I'm ready for that Last Airbender Blu-ray. That's actually coming out pretty soon.
Bro, that shit's getting bought like instantly.
It's cheap too. It's only like $50.
That's not bad.
Anyway, let's getting off topic. You guys have been listening to Nerd Bourbon. If you had a good time listening to this new segment, this quarterly segment that we're calling Nerd Bourbon's Video Game Vomit, why don't you guys go ahead and throw us a follow or a sub on whatever service you're listening to us on. If there's a service we aren't currently on that you want us on, let us know so we can make it happen. If you've got any questions, thoughts, comments, or concerns, and really you should have concerns, please leave them for us, and maybe I'll read your question on the show. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdbourbon, and we are at nerdbourbon on Twitter and on Twitch. Beyond that, the best and only way for us to grow is if you tell your friends about us. So, and maybe you won't want to after this episode. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for listening. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
See ya.